What is going on, everyone? Platinum Beast coming at you with yet another video. Today we're going to be talking about selling. Yes, selling precious metals. How you shouldn't regret it, how it's totally fine, and just some things about it. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, guys, so today's topic is just kind of a general topic regarding stacking. So, today I wanted to talk specifically about selling, right? Selling is something we don't really want to do for our stack. We don't want to sell, we want to stack, right? We want to stack as high as we possibly can. But I want to mention that if the time comes where you either want to sell or need to sell, you should not regret making that decision, right? And what I mean by that is, you might find yourself in a position to move one asset into another asset, right? And you might think it's a good idea. And you might have certain feelings and thoughts and notions among that. And it doesn't have to be different metals, right? You could sell the metals and buy a house. That would be a solid trade, right? I want to kind of mention how you shouldn't regret selling if something like that pops up, right? If you have the opportunity to buy a house and maybe you're currently renting an apartment or if you're young and still living at home or what have you, you shouldn't regret selling, because the whole point of stacking is wealth preservation in a way, right? It's kind of a savings account. Yes, we would like to see some gains on our precious metal stacks, but overall it's more so a savings account, and it's a hedge against inflation. And so if the time comes to sell in your life, whether you either need to or whether you just want to, you shouldn't regret making that decision, right? Because it's never really good to regret anything in life. Obviously, everyone has regrets in life, things they wish they did or didn't do. But if you go around regretting all the decisions you make, you just will not live a very happy life. Now, one thing I want to mention is when you sell part of your stack or even just your whole stack, it is somewhat replaceable to an extent, right? You might not be able to replace it for the same price that you sold it for. You might be able to replace it for even less than you sold it for. So you actually ended up coming out on top. You never know really where the market's going to go, and you never really know when you're going to be able to buy or sell again. So at the end of the day, when the time comes to sell, the best advice I can possibly give is just weigh all your options and make sure that what you are doing is best for you, the individual, right? I don't know what's best for any of my viewers as far as their individual lives. I just like talking about what my thoughts, feelings, plans, and things like that are on my channel. So it's important, again, to just, when the time comes to sell, or you find yourself in a position where you are debating on selling or considering selling different parts of your stack, just know that that is perfectly okay. Because, again, stacks are somewhat replaceable, right? Some of the collectible stuff you may have in your stack may be harder to replace than, say, your average regular everyday bullion, but it still is replaceable nonetheless. And there most likely will be something in the future that you will want anyways to fulfill that collector's niche, so to speak. And so I wouldn't really worry too much about that either, right? Now, I want to talk a little bit about my experience in selling precious metals, right? Most of my selling experience has been when I have seen an opportunity to flip a ratio or something like that, right? And it has not always gone in my favor necessarily. And sometimes it goes in my favor. It just takes a little while longer than I thought, right? Last year in 2020, I traded a decent amount of my silver stack and turned it into platinum, right? I actually ended up doing very well, but I didn't right off the bat, right? I kept seeing silver go up after I had sold it, and I kept thinking back about how if I waited a little while longer, I might have been able to get a little bit more money for the silver that I sold. But I was sitting on a stack of platinum that I had traded for, and that hadn't quite gone up until the very end of last year. So it was very easy for me to fall into like kind of this discouragement stage where I'm like, you know, is platinum going to move like I think it's going to move? And then it did. So that turned out well for me. It just took a little while longer than I expected it to take. But that's a good point to make, is sometimes, you know, you make a decision and then you regret it because you don't end up on the right side immediately, right? You know, if you sell your stack and you buy a house and then the housing market crashes, well, then you're really kind of hurting a bit because you probably overspent for your house, right? Well, you know, if you wait long enough, your house will appreciate in value, or land more so than just the house itself. But that's just some way to think about it, right? The same thing can go for anything in life. If you have an emergency, if you have something that needs taken care of and your savings of fiat dollars just doesn't quite cut it, you know, don't regret selling your precious metals for things like that, because those things are what's important, right? If someone gets sick in your family, or you get sick, God forbid, and you need money to cover medical expenses or medication or what have you, you know, those are important things in life. And, you know, you really shouldn't regret using some of what you have built as far as your assets to cover those needs in life. So, again, I just kind of wanted to make this video kind of just talking about how, you know, you never know what life's going to give you, and you never know what opportunities might arise on the horizon. And depending on where life takes you, or what you see and what you think and what you feel, it's totally okay to sell some of your stack, or even all of your stack if need be, to take on those other endeavors within your life. So, yeah, I just kind of wanted to make this video talking specifically about selling, how it's not something that you really should regret, and instead you should really look at it and be thankful and grateful that you had the enough wisdom to realize that stacking precious metals as a way to save money and hedge against inflation is one of the best decisions you really can make in life, right? And unfortunately, a lot of people don't make that decision, but it does end up in your favor almost always, right? You might end up selling the precious metals and then spot price goes up and you missed out on some extra money, but at the end of the day, you had that money stored away in precious metals. So you just got to look at the positives and not the negatives. So, yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video today. It was just kind of an interesting topic that was just kind of rolling around in my head, and I kind of wanted to make a video about it because I know a lot of people are kind of like crazy about not selling. A lot of people, you know, they feel bad about selling because, you know, they built up their stack and they're proud of it. But I just kind of wanted to post this video as sort of a few words of encouragement to stackers out there that it's totally fine to sell, and it's definitely not something you should really regret. Now, if you sell your stack for something that I would consider foolish, like gambling or, some other waste of money, then perhaps that might end up being a regret nonetheless. But you can really look at that in a positive too, right? If you take all of your stack and you just sell it and then waste the fiat, at the very least, you didn't put yourself in debt. Now, you can go into debt after that, but as far as selling your stack, that kept you out of debt. So again, another thing to look at if you have ever sold metals or you have ever, had to get rid of some of your metals to do other things in life, right? So, yeah, guys, that's all I have for you today. I appreciate everyone stopping by and checking out my video today. I appreciate all my loyal followers. Any new people to the channel, welcome. We talk a lot about platinum as well as other precious metals on this channel. Be sure to check out my other videos. Be sure to hit that like button down below. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Be sure to leave me a comment in the comment section down below, letting me know your thoughts and opinions. Have you ever sold? Do you plan on selling? What would you sell for? Let me know all that in the comment section down below. And until next time, guys, we will see you.